What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the Stella Herself podcast. As always, thank you so much for listening, and don't forget to screenshot this or take an aesthetic pic or boomerang, post it on your IG story, tag me so I can repost, retweet, share, all of that, and let me know your thoughts on anything we discuss down below. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can see I have a new background. I think this looks so much cuter and better than before. And until I have an official studio, this is just going to be the vibes. But yeah, I definitely just was not feeling my living room as the background anymore. This is a lot more just, we're on set. It's cute. It's more of an actual background, like before it was just a little too unprofesh for me. This is a lot more on brand. How is everyone doing? Christmas is in a couple days. And honestly, right now, I just feel like we can cancel it. Like, I don't know. I've just been, let me know if you relate. I just have been feeling very overwhelmed and stressed out recently. I think just by the state of the world, because it's low-key been a stressful month. Because I got sick. I didn't have COVID, but I definitely got sick. And, I thought I was going to New York. I couldn't. And then just the holidays and just all this news about COVID. Like, everyone seems to be getting COVID, getting sick. And cases are just rising and rising again. I don't know. It's very overwhelming and stressful, and I don't know, it's like a new kind of stress for me, at least, because last year we still had the hope of the vaccine, and while vaccines and the boosters are definitely shown and have been proven to, work, it's still, I see articles like, oh, well, a strain of COVID that is vaccine resistant is likely to develop, or Omicron and Delta are likely to combine with each other and give you a really bad case. It's just like, bro. And then with the holidays and stuff and just like traveling, and it's like I've already had to cancel the trip. It's just very overwhelming, and I just want it to be next year. Like, I just want to skip these holidays and all this holiday travels. There's so many people traveling, so many people getting sick, like blah blah blah. I just want it to be January. I just want to be on my grind, stay in the house, make my content, mind my own business. Yeah, because it just feels like, ew. It's just like so stressful, dude. So I just really wonder how 2022 is going to go as far as all of that goes. In next week's episode, we will be talking about New Year's on a more, just fun, relatable reflection type of way. So you have that to look forward to. Last episode of the year. And this year I've just been so consistent. Okay, let's not get into that. Let's save it for the actual last episode. But this year I've just been so consistent with my podcast, and I feel like it's improved a lot. And that's just very exciting to me. So I'm excited for this new year, like on a personal level. But then it's like also I'm kind of just dreading it on a wide scale, global level. Like, we're literally entering our third year dealing with this, and it just makes me wonder what life would be like, what my life would look like and be like if this had never happened, and part of it's like, okay, it's useless to think about that because it's not like you can go back and change it, but it's like, I don't know, part of me is curious. Yeah, so also thank you to everyone who watched or listened to last week's episode with Sonia. I got a really good response from that, and it was honestly just really fun to record with her, just because that's my bro, and I feel like we're just very comfortable together on camera, which helps a lot, and I just really like how the episode turned out. So if you haven't listened to that yet, it's definitely different. I have gotten some mixed feedback just in the sense of having a guest, because I had Bougie Billy on, and then I had Sonia on, and some people were like, oh, I just listened for you, The guest vibe is just like a different type of vibe, and I prefer you, but some people really like the guests. So I guess we'll see where it goes in this upcoming year. Also, I am thinking about live streaming my podcast. So let me know if that would be something you guys were interested in, or maybe doing like a live one and then like a pre-recorded one. Like, we'll have to see, but I definitely have a lot of ideas and I'm very excited. So if you have any feedback for me, what you enjoy, what you don't enjoy as much, topics that you like, topics that you want more of on here, definitely let me know. On the topic of, I guess kind of on the topic of social media, this has been something that's been on my mind for a while. And it's so funny because I was already planning to talk about this. And then I saw someone I know post something related to it literally right before I hit record. So let's talk. Also, if you've been watching my Instagram stories, I've been not really on a mission or a journey, but I've been reviewing lightly the different Starbucks flavors, the syrups, the holiday beverages. And I just always come back to my OG, a cold brew with oat milk and 2 pumps of classic syrup. It's just the perfect coffee for me. Oh my god, dude, I've just been, I don't know. Maybe it's just winter, but I feel like I've just been so cold. Well, obviously because it's cold, but that's because of winter. But I just have been so like uncomfortable recently, like either way too cold. I feel like I've just been way more hungry recently. So let me know if you relate. We still have time to turn it around, but yeah, it's just not gone how I planned or like expected. And it's just all this like impending doom from the world ending. It's just like been a lot, but you know, we can only do what we can do. And I share that just to let you guys know if you are feeling that way too, just to like make sure, just to let you know you're not alone in feeling that way. But it's like the PMS feeling like never stopped, you know. I'm supposed to be feeling good right now and I just don't. Okay, anyway, so this topic is just, okay, this is the thing. Instagram is a tool. And I feel like so much of your experience depends on who you follow, what kind of content you consume. And, you know, Instagram's going to show you more of what you look at. So when I see people say things like, oh, Instagram is just the worst thing to ever happen to this generation. Instagram is melting our brains. Instagram is so toxic. This, that. It's like, I don't know, like I don't really have a bad experience as far as that goes. Like I get frustrated with it from a creator perspective, you know, when they change things or like, I don't know, like a big thing was like when they changed the algorithm, whatever, or like, oh, they change where the button is, so now you gotta click up here instead of on the bottom center for like a new post. But it's like, for me, my Instagram experience as a user and a content consumer is not this horrible toxic experience where I hate my body all of a sudden and I'm so jealous and I'm just like having the worst time and my self-esteem is plummeting. Like, bro, I follow people I know. I follow therapists, therapy pages. I follow some astrology pages, some like, you know, what are they like? I forget what they're called. There's one for LA, one for New York, but it's like, you know, trendy things that are happening in the city, different pop-ups, restaurants. There's like a date spot, New York page I follow. They just post restaurants. Like, who are you following and what kind of content are you consuming to where Instagram's showing you more of that? Like what's making you feel like it's this horrible place? Because it doesn't have to be. Like, just unfollow people that are making you feel that way. Like, I don't know. I just don't have this horrible experience. And, like, with Twitter, too. Like, bro, I don't follow people that are putting negativity on my timeline. And, like, negativity can look different to anyone. Like, for example, there's been... Like, negativity can just be, like, someone complaining. But then it can be, like, you know... what really comes to mind... Like, a bro that I know in person, and then their tweets are just like, oh, yeah, I support the baby. Bro, I'm going to unfollow you, because that's just going to piss me off. Like, I don't want to see that. Like, I want to see... Like, yeah, Tory Lanez, I'm definitely on his side. I just watched a video about that, so that's why that was the first example to come to mind. But like, your social media experiences do not need to be this horrible thing. Oh my god, I just keep comparing my body to other people. Like, so if you do feel that way, I think it's time to take a little accountability. So sorry for the traffic. Okay, this is really funny, but I recently did this reel for a hair care brand, and they wanted a version with a voiceover, because I don't really do voiceovers on my, like, get ready with me's or little mini tutorials. Usually I just do music, but they wanted a voiceover, so I recorded it, and I did not even notice, but they were like, oh, we really like it, but can you re-record this part, because there were sirens in the background, and it's really distracting. And I was like, bro, like, I literally did not even notice. Like, how did I not notice? Because I'm, like, what? Am I that used to it? Like, maybe it was just distant, and I don't know. But it just made me think of that girl who commented on my podcast, like, the sirens in the background were really distracting while I was listening to this while driving. I was like, oh my god, bro, I'm so sorry. Like, my bad, for real. Anyway. Yeah, so if you are feeling that way, bro, unfollow the people that make you feel that way. Like, it's not hard. I mean, I should, like, not to, like, blame anyone. Like, I'm just trying to, like, help you out. But also, it's just funny when people, like the specific person who just keeps talking about how much they hate Instagram. It's like, bro, you are on Instagram every day. I see your stories every day. Like, you're just on here to complain about it. Like, if it's really bothering you that much, like, you could just not go on it. You could delete your account. You could delete the app off your phone. Like, obviously there's something keeping you here. And, like, I don't know. It's just, like, if it were, like, I'm just not gonna, like, I'm not following, you know, tons. I follow a few other, you know, influencers, content creators, like, but I don't know, it's like, none of them make me feel like, oh, I need to compare my body, or like, oh, they're making me feel so insecure or worthless, or like, oh, I hate following them. It's like, no, I think they're cute. I like their vlogs, or like, I like their content, so I'm going to follow. Like, or I get inspired. Like, I'm not here to follow people just, like, I don't know. It's like, what's worth a follow? What makes an account or a page worth your follow, you know? Because there's just so many accounts that are so inspiring and, like, good vibes, and whatever your interests are, like, you can find that. And I'll show you, therefore the algorithm will show you more of that. Like, let's go on my algorithm, or like my explore page right now. It's motherfucking memes, boundaries, nails. Oh my god, this girl's BBL is huge. Okay, I don't know why it's recommending me that, but more memes. Learn your love language. More memes. Some engagement rings. Cute. Got a gut feeling. More nails. Some outfits. Like, it's, bro, it's like, do I feel horrible and disgusting after looking at that? No. I feel like cute. Okay, I can move on with my day. So if you're really having, like, such a horrible time, like, just, I don't know, it's like a good time of year to do a social media cleanse. Like, whatever page you're most active on, maybe it's Twitter for you, maybe it's Instagram, maybe it's TikTok, maybe it's YouTube. Just go and unfollow all the people that don't really, like, make you feel good. Because it's the same kind of vibe as, like, you know, people in your life. And, like, are people draining your energy, or are they making you feel better? Like, how do you feel after hanging out with someone or being around someone? Like, do you feel worse about yourself in your life and just life in general, or do you feel good and, like, content and happy and inspired or whatever? And especially with social media, like, it's just like you have so much control, I feel, over, like, what you see. Like, you know? So stop fucking complaining at that person that I felt like, shut the fuck up. Do something about it then. Like, anyway, that's kind of my thoughts about that. But I would love to hear your thoughts, because I know we have talked a lot on my podcast, and it's just a topic I hear about a lot. You know, Instagram changing our perspectives on body image and like what the ideal body type is, and just making a lot of young girls very insecure and like, oh, social media is not real life. I do not follow any of the Kardashians. Like, I'm not following people just because they look how I want to look, or like, I don't know, like, there's a difference between, oh, I just like looking at like cute pictures or like aesthetic pics, or like there's some accounts that it's just like, oh, luxury lifestyle, and then it's just like, you know, nice hotel rooms and like dinners and like outfits. So it's like cute. But then like if you're following someone and you're just like the whole time, it just makes you feel like shit about your own life and stuff. It's like, why are you following them? Like, bro, like there's just so many other options. So anyway, great time of year for that cleanse. Also, this is a great time of year to unfollow any man who has you in their close friends that just post sexual shit in there all the time. Unfollow them. Unfollow any weirdos. Like, yeah, it's time for a cleanse for real. Also, some people unfollowed me. Some, like, you know when you just like meet a bro out and you just like follow each other on Instagram but you never hang out, but it's like, I don't know, it's like sometimes it's like I don't have a reason to unfollow you, so like whatever. There was like 2 of those bros that unfollowed me, and I was like, bro, I was only following you because we followed each other. Like, I would have been unfollowed. But social media is such a toxic place. It's like, damn, what did I do? But also, okay, I didn't really plan on talking about this, but it was kind of on my mind. And I know I've talked about this before, but something I've really learned is especially if you're trying to like build up your Instagram or your social media following, it's just so much better to like do, and maybe this is obvious and maybe this is just like outdated advice, maybe this is just like something I wish I had known. It's so much better to build up your following of like what you actually want your following to be. So like, for example, I feel like I used to post a lot more ass pics and just like, you know, sexy pics, revealing pics, like very targeted towards the male gaze. And I would do that because those photos would get a lot more likes. They would get a lot more attention. But then it's like, okay, so who's going to be my main audience? Like men who want to see that. And then when it comes to like, with all this being said, I have a few like male followers, like straight men who actually watch all my content and vlogs and podcasts. So shout out to y'all. But I think a lot of men who follow me, like, it's like just because they think I'm hot. And though they're not going to be the ones to like support Vlogmas or like listen to a podcast or like do the things that I actually am interested in doing, or like the content I'm interested in creating on a day-to-day basis, you know. It's like sometimes, yeah, I want to pop out with like a cute pic or showing off my body, whatever, swimsuit pic, but that's not my brand. So it's something I've kind of had to learn, especially over this past year, where I've actually started like doing more shit on Instagram besides just like posting pics. It's not fucking 2016, okay? Get with the times. Me. I did finally get with the times, thank God. But yeah, it's just kind of like that transition, I guess. And it's just like, damn, I wish I had just done this from the start instead of just, you know, getting quick, fast likes just, oh, because I have my ass out. But then let's like another post where I'm talking about something actually serious, or like, you know, more for the girls, gays, and theys, it's like gonna get less likes or interaction because all my followers are fucking straight men. So anyway, just something to think about. It's better to like build slowly than to just like get those fast likes from showing your ass, unless that's like what the direction you want to go to, you know. If like you're like fine with that being your target demographic, or maybe you're doing OF or like whatever, like then you need to be doing that. But if it's like you want to not do that, then it's kind of like, oh, then this brand hits you up, and then your audience is 70% men, and they're like, well, our product is not meant for that, so we can't work with you. You know? So just like something to keep in mind, but I feel like I've definitely gotten a lot better at that. And yeah, I've just been having a lot more fun making content, like, yeah, like reels and TikToks and stuff. So anyway, and my podcast, I just feel like it's like come a long way this year, and I'm just like grateful for that and excited to like keep going. Like I finally feel like I have like a thing, and I know I've talked about that like over this past year here and there, but it's just a good feeling, you know? Yeah, so anyway, I wanted to talk about kind of a controversial subject today on the topic of Instagram and body image and body standards. I wanted to talk about the age-old topic, is plastic surgery and body modifications, facial modifications like fillers and Botox, feminist? So someone tagged me in this TikTok. I should have saved it, god damn it. But this girl, she was probably around my age, maybe a little bit younger, was talking about plastic surgery. No, she was talking about Botox specifically, and like how she can't believe there's like 19-year-olds getting Botox, like preventative Botox, because you don't even know what you look like yet. You know, like what if you actually like yourself with wrinkles or yourself when you're older more than now? She talked about how she's watching Parks and Rec and how she feels that Amy Poehler looks a lot better in later seasons than in earlier ones, even though she is older, and how there's this constant pressure. Basically, like the standard is to look as young as possible, you know, and youth is like beauty, and everyone just wants to look how they did when they were 21 or 18, 19, whatever. So y'all know me. I've gotten Botox. I've fucking had plastic surgery. Or I read an article, it was like plastic surgery is like for like medical reasons. It's cosmetic surgery if it's just for aesthetics. Like plastic surgery would be like if you were like a burn victim, not one. But cosmetic surgery is like a BBL. Anyway, so I definitely have like mixed opinions about this subject in general. So I don't really have like so much an answer as just different things that I've read, and I want to open up the conversation and ask you guys what you think about the subject, because I just feel like this can go like so many different ways. Number one, okay, well, I think my overall opinion is that you like blaming individuals or shaming individuals for getting surgery or changing, you know, getting injectables, getting fillers, whatever, is just not very productive. Because the truth is, we do live in a society where we are rewarded when we fit the standard of beauty. We're treated better, we get more opportunities, we're usually more successful. And that's not to say you can't be successful, you know, define success however you want, or have an enjoyable, good life without that, but it's like it may not be as easy, you know, like pretty privilege is very real. So I think, I'm not saying that the woman in this TikTok was necessarily doing that, but I just feel like there's this vibe, and I would know firsthand, okay, of like people wanting to shame individuals for changing their body permanently. And it's just like, what's the point? Like, if you're gonna blame anyone, blame men, blame patriarchy, like blame these systems, like. So anyway, I found, and don't worry, I'm gonna like look over both, or I'm going to discuss both sides of this, but as far as like, okay, well, I found this article on the New York Times titled "What Women Who Criticize Plastic Surgery Don't See." So, wait. This is from March 2020. Let me see. There are those, basically she was talking about, you know, the whole like, natural bodies thing. This camp has co-opted the language of body positivity to shame women. Those on Team Natural claim that, you know, people who, like, celebrities who have natural bodies have ideal bodies. Like, they said Angela Simmons, Doja Cat, and Megan Thee Stallion, who both describe themselves as natural, have ideal bodies. But these women are all conventionally attractive with flat stomachs and round behinds. The truth is, the adherents of Team Natural are upholding the beauty hierarchy that has always existed. They are content to keep the narrow body standard just wide enough to accommodate women like them, but not to radically challenge the standard itself. Like many of the things that millennials dive into, plastic surgery has been oversimplified as unnecessary, self-obsessed, and harmful. But conventional plastic surgery is remarkably safe. Still, horror stories about women left disfigured or dead after undergoing black market surgeries occasionally go viral. People latch onto them as cautionary tales or exploit them in an effort to publicly shame others. Me. Literally the amount of people that were like, you could die from that. It's like, babe, I already did it and I'm here and I'm fine. So it's like they just want some kind of way to, and I'm not saying everybody who's against plastic surgery, but it's just that specific vibe. It's like they just want any reason to like shame you, so they're gonna like choose that because it's like, how can you argue against safety? But it's like, you don't care about my safety, and it's very safe. What? Rather than encourage women who choose only safe options for surgery, those who oppose these procedures condemn women for wanting to pursue them in the first place. See, I don't think that women who are staunchly against plastic surgery are worried about women's health or self-esteem. I think they are motivated by fear that their pretty privilege, the beauty they get to enjoy from meeting those standards without the help of a doctor, is at risk. If beauty becomes democratized by more people simply paying surgeons for it, the proverbial finish line gets pushed further away. But upholding a limited body ideal and rewarding the cluster of folks closest to it isn't the solution. Embracing autonomy and a variety of body aesthetics is. The notion of beauty is fueled in part by exclusivity. Those relatively few who have it are revered. Whether we like it or not, we are all subject to privileges and disadvantages based on our appearance. We enhance ourselves with makeup, hair extensions, and fake nails because we are all under pressure to achieve the unattainable standards of Beyoncé and the Kardashians. We adjust our bodies with shapewear and strategic clothing choices. Singling out plastic surgery as both unnecessary and unnatural is missing the bigger picture. People with marginalized bodies are acutely aware of the consequences of not meeting the standards of physical beauty. While some of us choose a path of radical self-acceptance and reject the beauty ideals that we've been told we haven't reached, many of us have instead found ways to leverage those standards for our own survival and success. We adopt certain beauty practices, from fake lashes to cheek fillers, in order to pass, to survive, and to thrive. A natural body movement that doesn't include all of us is the real danger. The truth is, we will typically have better experiences, easier experiences, and be able to survive and thrive when we do fit ideals. So while that's not to say, oh, well, everyone should just get surgery or everyone should just, succumb to the beauty standards, it's like to shame someone for wanting to fit that when they have this like deep-rooted insecurity that's like so often it's so subconscious, it's like because we just place so much of our worth into how we look, but it's not like we decide to do that. We've been taught, like we've been socialized to think that way or to feel that way about ourselves. So shaming people is just not like worth it. And while this article was more so about surgery and the TikTok was about Botox and more so like anti-aging, preserving our youth, etc., it is very similar in just the sense of beauty ideals and how youth is often considered the beauty ideal. So while I don't personally think, because there's some women who think that, who would just say, oh, plastic surgery is feminist because, every woman should be able to decide what she wants to do with her body. It's like, okay, true, but it's just like, it's true. Like, we are succumbing to beauty ideals that are set by patriarchy and men. But I just don't think shaming people is going to fix any, like, it's not going to fix anything. And the thing is, like, I feel like my life has improved so much since getting a BBL, and, like, it's just kind of crazy. I get treated, like, differently, you know, and better. So for someone to try to shame me, it's like, well, my literal experience has been, because of this, my life has improved. So, like, I don't, on that kind of, like, personal level, it's just, like, I don't really care what anyone has to say. And but that's not to say I'm, like, pro surgery, because I know at the end of the day, it's like, this is just because of beauty standards. And in an ideal world, bro, like, we wouldn't even think, like, it would just be total body neutrality, you know? Because that was also part of the thing that kind of came to mind for me about that TikTok. Like, oh, well, what if you look better when you're older? It's like, what do you mean by look better? Like, if we truly were not, you know, placing this importance on our looks at all, it wouldn't be, like, body positivity. It would be body neutrality. Like, it would just, like, it wouldn't matter whether we look better, quote unquote, better when we're older or not, because it just wouldn't matter. So I think that is also something to work on more. Or, like, I wish I could remember the specific article that I was reading, but they used the example of, like, stretch marks, and it's like, oh, my stretch marks are beautiful, they are my tiger stripes. And it's like, it's like, you're just, like, it's still placing importance on how you look. Whereas, again, body neutrality would just be like, okay, I have these exist, it doesn't matter, like, it's neither good nor bad. So there's that. Then there was an article from the Harper's Bazaar about, this was more so about teenage plastic surgery, which, I don't know, I don't really have too many thoughts on that. They were talking a lot about social media, though, and, like, Kylie Jenner and the effects of these trends, and just, you know, young girls seeing, which is kind of like what we were talking about earlier, young girls just, you know, seeing these women online who have had work done or have edited their photos, and they think that's normal. That's, like, sad. Like, I don't think you should, like, change your body before you're 18, because you're not even done growing or, like, developing. And, like, even just my face has changed so much from when I was 18 to now. Like, I feel like my face is more snatched. I lost a lot of baby fat. Like, tell me why someone I had to wait for the sirens to go by, but tell me why this guy just commented on my, like, feminine urge. I did, like, the feminine urge to completely rebrand every New Year's. He commented, I don't know if that's a feminine thing. I always fight the urge to rebrand. When you're not on TikTok. Do I, like, explain to him? Do I not? It's so funny when, like, bros I know follow me and, like, engage with my content that's, like, not for them. Like, but it's like, I love it, but, like, it's just so funny. But I love it because, like, there's nothing worse than when I do a poll on IG and, like, people I know don't do the poll. It's like, you're just gonna click through my story and not, like, do the work, bitch. I'm just kidding, it's not that serious. Anyway, okay, now that there's no sirens, we can get back to this. So at the end of this article, they were talking about Gabby and Nikki. This is, like, an old article. I don't know what year, but it's from a while ago. But they were talking about how Gabby deciding to get lip injections was empowering, and how selfies and Instagram and cosmetic procedures are empowering. The word empowering seemed more like anything like a way to deflect questions and shut down the conversation about cosmetic work altogether. Part of the game of getting cosmetic work still involves pretending you never had it and that you simply woke up prettier because of God. Femininity remains inextricably intertwined with notions of modesty. Effort is unattractive. Good plastic surgery looks like you never had it done. It's all tied up with the myth of natural beauty. So ironically, while we're all very proud of our decisions, none of us want to own up to them. So can I just get a fucking round of applause for being open about my BBL from the beginning, bitch? Because I do disagree with that as well. But at the same time, it's like, I understand, because there's so much stigma and shame around plastic surgery no wonder none of these bitches want to admit that they've had shit done. But then also it's like, if you get a BBL and then you start selling workout guides, like, that's fraud. And doing your little before and after, oh, this is my body when I was 14 before puberty, and then this is me at 25 after a BBL and I've gained weight. Like, duh. That's not your workout plan. That's surgery and nature. If it's empowering, why is it a secret? Exactly. So it's just such a complex topic, you know? I feel like there's so many layers. But I did read something, or I actually was watching a TikTok live from one of my favorite therapists on TikTok. So my mom's a therapist. Someone asked her while I was watching the live about, or maybe it was a TikTok. I think it was a live, but someone asked her what her thoughts on, you know, getting work done. I don't know if they were specifically talking about Botox and filler or actual surgery. But they basically asked her, like, what are your thoughts on getting work done? And she had such a great response. As far as, like, on a personal level, she said something to the effect of, you know, if something's bothering you and you change it, and then it's like you no longer have to think about that thing, and you can just move on with your life, and it's no longer this thing weighing you down, like, that's great. But it becomes a problem if once you do something or fix something, you feel like you fix something, then it's like you just keep looking for things to change or to fix, or like, it's like you're never done. And I related to this so much, and I think that's one of the things I said in one of my first BBL videos, was just like, this was something that was just weighing me down, like, all the time, every day it was an issue. And same with acne. Like, there was a point where I would, like, cry every day because of how frustrated I was about my skin. And now it's like, I don't even have to think about it. Like, sometimes I'll get a pimple here or there, but it's like not this huge emotional thing where it's like it affects my whole life and mood and day and like everything, you know? Same with the BBL. Like, yeah, I'm like, okay, well, I kind of want to, like, you know, build my legs up a little more in the gym, but it's not like this constant, just like, I'm always checking in the mirror. Like, I'm just always like, oh my God, like, you know? So it's like, if you're gonna do it, make sure you're doing it, I guess, with the right mindset. Yeah. There was also this website, I think it was feminismindia.com. It was an article about plastic surgery. And I just, like, this was so unrealistic to me. They said, oh, just embrace your imperfections as perfect until you don't see them anymore. Yeah, try telling that to someone who has to, like, look at their acne. I mean, I'm sure people don't, I'm sure some people would put Accutane in the same category as, like, you know, getting work done. But, like, bro, it's like, yeah, I want to believe that. But then it's like, when everyone, both in your own personal life and online, is constantly, like, berating you with insults and just, like, commenting on how you look, and, like, is it really realistic to just ignore it until you love yourself? Like, maybe for some people, but that takes so much emotional energy. And it's like, if you could just do something, I'm not trying to, like, downplay surgery. Surgery is not just, like, this simple thing, but, like, if you have this option and you're able to do it, like, why not just do it? Because those were always, like, my two things, you know, like, just kind of, like, my body shape, like, the shape of my butt. Because even when I would build muscle, gain weight, like, it just was never the shape that I wanted. And my skin, those were always, like, my two biggest insecurities. If someone had said to me, like, just ignore it until you love yourself, like, that's just so unrealistic, bro. Like, you're not even giving people, like, a manual on how to do that, or, like, the steps. Like, and then it's still not body neutrality. So it's just a very complex subject. The thing is, the truth is, we do live in this world. Like I said at the beginning, like I've said, like, probably 8 times by now in this podcast, we do live in a world that, especially as women, like, so much of our worth has to do with our looks. So it's like, I don't think that's necessarily going to change overnight. So don't shame people for like wanting a better, easier life or experience like for themselves. I think it's like, stay in your own lane. My answer to this is stay in your own lane. If someone you know is getting Botox and you disagree with that so much, you don't have to. No one's forcing you to like try to control what other people do. I think is a little bit like, okay, what's the real issue? Are you jealous? Like, are you scared they're gonna look better than you? Quote unquote better? You know, like, what's the real issue? Because I just do not feel the urge to like go around shaming people for like what they've had done. Like, what? Bro, it doesn't affect me. Like, and it's just like, be glad the people who are being honest about it are being honest about it. But I do agree. When it comes down to it, it is patriarchy, and it's like, yeah, we shouldn't have to live like this, but like we do. So it's like, they don't comfort individuals. Like, that's not gonna solve anything. So I don't really have like an answer or like a call to action. I guess I would just like to open up the convo. What do you think? Because I just feel like there's so many layers to this topic, to this issue. And ultimately, the more we shame people, the less they're going to be open about it. The more they're going to hide when they do have work done, and the more likely people are to choose unsafe options, black market options. So just stay in your own lane. Like, yeah, we can like talk about things and share our differences in opinion, but that doesn't mean you have to like go around harassing people or like shaming people. But oh my god, you did you even go to the gym? Why do you care about preserving your youth so much? You might look better when you're old. It's like, okay, you don't have to. Like, so anyway, I don't really know if that's like helpful at all or if I really contributed anything new to this conversation, but let me know your thoughts. I just think it's really interesting, especially as someone who, has experienced surgery and injectables, but no one's ever come for me for that. And who, I guess we're all kind of in this world. I feel like in the olden days, probably just like 10 years ago, it used to really be like, oh, LA specifically is like, oh, plastic surgery capital, and like, but now I just feel like it's anywhere, especially major cities. But like, we're all on social media. We all see people who have had work done all the time. Did you guys see that TikTok that was like, we're not meant to see this many beautiful people in our lifetime? Like, bro, literally. Because social media, we're just seeing more people in general than we would without it, but also like so many more people have access to good makeup, filters, enhancements, surgery, etc. So yeah, there's like the individual portion of it where it's like, okay, is this actually going to make me feel better, or is it just gonna like be an endless, is there actually no finish line for me? And then there's the like, your relationship with other people. Am I shaming people? Am I staying in my own lane? And then there's like the wide global view of like, this is just patriarchy and so much of our worth is based on how we look. The truth is we are going to have easier experiences when we do look more conventionally attractive. So it's like a lot of things in one. But yeah, those are my thoughts, I guess. Let me know your thoughts. Yeah. So when is Venus retrograde specifically? Guys, it's Venus retrograde on the 19th. So yeah, it already happened as of this podcast going up. And it was a full moon last week. Bro, so it's Venus retrograde until the end of January. And mid-January, it's also Mercury retrograde. So just get ready for a lot of reflections. I do, even though I'm kind of like, it is, I feel, a good time of year to have these retrogrades and to take time, I guess, to reflect and ponder, because I feel like this time of year I already naturally am inclined to do that. So we're going to see. But My mom sent me this article from mooncircles.com about Venus retrograde, and they had this article talks about this little 40-day challenge, and it was kind of unique, and they actually talk about in the beginning of the article how, okay, I'll just read it, and this is mooncircles.com. What today's astrologers typically say about Venus retrograde is, watch out, difficulties with all things Venus lie ahead. She'll screw with your relationships, your money, your beauty, your overall happiness. As if Venus were standing at an engine, grinding out all these same dull fates year after year. Alas, it's what happens when you take the sacred out of astrology. The gods who used to use planets to send us divine messages are now caught in some mechanical assembly line, having lost all intelligence and creativity. And this is why often enough the dire predictions about Venus retrograde come true. Without a devotional approach to the sacred interval, we can easily fall prey to its subconscious traps. We can make bad decisions about money or love, especially if we've been neglecting our Venus needs. What's your best outcome? During the 40 days and nights of a Venus retrograde, quite simply, you can transform. You can use the supportive weeks ahead to become a better, more radiant version of yourself. So I really liked this article because it was kind of like, ooh, mystical, but I liked the vibes. And she had this little chart about the different dates throughout Venus retrograde. When Venus goes retrograde, when Venus disappears as the evening star, when it's conjunct with the sun, when it emerges as the morning star, and when it goes direct. And for each of these points, there's like an activity to do. So I guess we'll just go through it. So on November 17th, Venus, and okay, a lot of you guys actually have asked me to talk more about astrology. I don't really feel like qualified, so I hope this is like enough for you, but definitely seek out articles and actual astrologers on YouTube or Twitter, IG, even TikTok, to get like in-depth tea. But I just like share what I read, so I hope like everyone knows that like I'm not like certified or like an expert, but I am interested in it, and I do think a lot of the themes are usually very helpful and like it's usually like very aligned with what I'm currently going through. So anyway, so last month Venus went into the pre-retrograde shadow, so that was a good time to like set your retrograde intention, make a plan for how to support this. And when Venus goes retrograde, which it did on the 19th, begin your 40-day commitment. Especially with Venus in Capricorn, be willing to work for your success. Address important goals that will increase your self-respect. On January 2nd, Venus disappears as the evening star, and within this article, I'll link it down below so you can fully read it, but there was a story about the underworld and like meeting your crazy side or like your dark side, and just letting like all your frustrations and anger out. And she said in the article to like journal it all out, and just really like saying, oh, I demand, like if you're really frustrated with your relationships or your current relationship or like your past relationships of this year or like I guess of last year at this point, just like write it all out, like get it all out. And there's like power within that anger or that frustration or sadness or whatever it is. So then when Venus goes conjunct with the sun on January 9th, your view of matters may shift and a new clarity may appear. And then when Venus emerges as the morning star, she's like coming back from, the underworld, the darkness. And it says, nurture the radiant strength that begins gathering inside. Venus's actual appearance depends on your horizon line, a moment eagerly awaited by ancient priests. And then on the 29th, Venus goes direct. Celebrate how far you've come. You're free to make new choices based on your 40 days of transformation. Be strategic about your future steps. So, it can just be, I think what really helps me during any kind of retrograde, Mercury retrograde is the most common one because it is the most frequent one. There will be 4 Mercury retrogrades in 2022. One of them happening in January or starting in January. I'm going to really try to journal more, and whenever I have a certain thought or like a realization or my intuition is kicking in, I'm going to write it down. And sometimes it can be just because I'm not in the habit of it, but it can be challenging for me to sit down and like journal regularly. And usually it's just the literal physicalities of it, like sitting down, picking up a pen. I'm like, oh, my hand gets sore too quick, or like, so to that, I say to myself, just do what works. Like, if you have a sudden thought, or like, I don't know, maybe a repeating kind of train of thought, just write it in your notes app really quick and come back to it like when you actually do have the time or feel inclined to like fully journal about it or write it. For some of you, I know you do journal regularly, so that might be easy for you. But for those of us who don't, like, I did journal all throughout this past year, but it was definitely not regularly. So I guess that's one of my goals too, just for the year overall. So I guess this is a good way to start out the year, kind of already with that intention in mind. So hopefully it carries out for the rest of the year, because it's such a great tool, you know, for getting things out, like frustrations, but also just like for realizations and different thoughts you may have. It's good. It's very therapeutic, you know, in the moment, but also it's so fascinating and rewarding to look back on, because you can really see your growth, you know, throughout the year or throughout the retrograde, and see how you've changed when you realize certain stuff. And especially when we're talking about relationships, like writing things down as they happen then later allows you to look back on it and notice patterns and themes, and like, okay, why did I attract all of these similar people? Like, what do I need to look at in myself, etc. So let me know if you have a regular journaling routine. If you don't, like me, kind of off-brand for me to not, right? Maybe it makes me more relatable. Maybe we can start doing that for this retrograde. And again, it's like, it doesn't necessarily have to look like sitting down writing with a pen in a journal. Like, use your notes app. Maybe you want to use a Google Doc. Like, maybe, I don't know, sometimes I feel like vlogging sometimes is like a journal, kind of like video diary, but some stuff it's like, okay, I wouldn't want to post this. It's like stupid as fuck. You know, so whatever your medium is, it's like, do whatever works for you. Like, don't force yourself if it's not actually working. Anyway, so that's kind of the tea. We'll talk more about Mercury retrograde when it's here. But yeah, we're definitely starting this year off, I feel like, on a fresh slate. Or I guess it'll be a fresh slate after we have our realizations, but like after the retrogrades. But we're definitely going to be learning a lot. And hopefully this year just shows a lot of the things that we have learned in our personal growth. I'm excited, even though I'm kind of like, right now, it's just, we'll get past this and we'll come out stronger on the other side. So let me know if you've already had any Venus retrograde realizations, if you've had any X's pop up already. Let me know. We love tea. And I will be doing polls and Q&As. Not Q&As, but like I'm asking the question, you guys are answering it on Instagram. So definitely make sure you're following me on there to take part. It doesn't have to be this horrible toxic place when you can take part in a Stella poll, okay? I think that's all I have to talk about today. So I hope you guys all have a great Christmas if you celebrate. Stay safe, wear your masks, get your booster shots. Don't drink too much if you're not feeling good, because it's just gonna make it worse. But stay hydrated, drink your tea, and I will talk to you guys next week. Bye, everyone.